Royal has done it again. Puerto Rico is back, and Netflix has another cruise documentary coming out. Ahoy, travelers! It's Amy here with your weekly Cruise News Roundup and my thoughts on some of the biggest stories of the week. Cruising to Norway has just gotten more expensive. Starting in the summer of 2026, the Norwegian government will be issuing a new tourist tax that will impact cruise passengers. This new policy allows towns to charge up to a 3% fee or visitor's contribution on overnight stays and cruise ship passengers. Norway is not the first country to implement a tourist tax, but why now? Norway has been seeing a massive surge in tourism, nearly 6 million cruise passengers and 12.4 million overnight stays in 2024 alone. Popular spots like Bergen, Lofoten Islands, and Granger Fjord are feeling the strain of this. And this tax aims to fund infrastructure upgrades and protect those stunning natural landscapes that draw all those tourists in. Think better public facilities, preserved fjords, and sustainable tourism vibes. Now, the tax will not be automatically issued nationwide. Individual towns that decide they want to implement this new fee will need to apply for approval, and then they have to demonstrate that tourism is placing a significant strain on public resources. Places like Lofoten and Tromsø are already on board, so expect a small bump in your cruise costs if you're headed there. Now, it may be a modest fee, but it is part of a larger European trend. So Greece is hitting cruise guests with a tax starting July of this year. So is it worth it? For those epic Norwegian views, I'd say yes, but let me know in the comments how you feel about these new fees. Do you have plans to visit Norway anytime soon? Our cruise around Norway was a once-in-a-lifetime vacation that a 3% tax would not have prevented me from taking. Great news for cruisers headed to Puerto Rico. San Juan's Pier 3 is back in action, welcoming mega cruise ships after months of closure. Now, you may remember that the pier was damaged in April of last year by MSC Cruises' MSC Meraviglia. It has been fully repaired and approved by the U.S. Coast Guard as of June 27th. This is huge for fans of mega ships like Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. So why does this matter? Pier 3 is the only berth in San Juan that can handle giants like the Oasis and Icon class ships, which are over 1,000 feet long. Since the damage, ships like Symphony of the Seas and Disney Treasure had to skip San Juan, leaving some cruisers upset and locals frustrated. Now, with repairs complete, Icon of the Seas is set to return on August 12th and Wonder of the Seas on August 6th. Smaller ships have been docking at other piers, but this reopening means the big boys are back. And that is a lot of people heading for Puerto Rico. And so it's a big win for Puerto Rico's tourism and those dreamy San Juan shore excursions. Think old San Juan's colorful streets and, of course, the fortress. So are you excited to cruise San Juan now that Pier 3 is open? Now, my very first cruise was on the Carnival Destiny, which was home ported out of San Juan at the time. I really would like to go back there someday. Royal Caribbean has done it again. They've overbooked another cruise. This time, it's the July 5th 5-night Bermuda sailing on the Liberty of the Seas, and this is becoming a frustrating pattern for cruisers. This marks at least the 9th overbooking incident for Royal Caribbean in 2025 alone, with ships like Allure of the Seas and Adventure of the Seas facing similar issues. Why does this keep happening? I think it is fair to assume that, like airlines, cruise lines sometimes oversell cabins, especially those guaranteed cabins where cruisers aren't picking a specific room. The lines are banking on last-minute cancellations to free up space, but when those cancellations don't happen, passengers get stuck. Now, I have said this before, but this must be a practice that usually works in Royal's favor because they, more than any other line, seem to be having an issue with overbooking. Now, to fix this mess, Royal Caribbean is offering tempting deals for flexible travelers. So they're offering a full refund, a transfer to the same cabin category on specific August, September, or October sailings. And that includes a 9-night Bermuda and Eastern Caribbean itinerary on the Symphony of the Seas. And as well, coverage for any non-refundable travel costs like flights or hotels. That's a pretty generous offer. But for many, it's a hassle to rearrange plans if they're even able to. Now, if I were offered the chance to get a free cruise, which is essentially what is being offered because they're getting a refund for the cruise that's the 5-night cruise and then are just getting the next one free, plus their travel arrangements refunded. Anyway, if I was being offered this and one of the options was to almost double the length of my cruise because they're going from a 5-day to potentially a 9-day cruise, I would do it if at all possible. How about you? Well, have you ever had to deal with a cruise mix-up like this? Drop your stories in the comments. This is definitely something that a lot of people have dealt with over the last couple years, especially with Royal Caribbean. Well, a scary moment for cruise passengers in Alaska. On June 26th, a school bus carrying 46 cruise guests crashed into an SUV in Ketchikan. Now, this is a popular stop on Alaskan itineraries. The accident occurred around 9 a.m. on North Tongass Highway when the southbound bus collided with the SUV, which then slammed into a power pole, briefly closing the road. Thankfully, no fatalities were reported, but 3 people, 2 cruise passengers and the SUV driver, were rushed to the medical center in Ketchikan, with 1 in critical condition. Now, emergency crews from Ketchikan and nearby fire departments acted fast, clearing 44 passengers to return to their ship at Ward Cove. The bus was likely heading to a shore excursion. That's pretty evident from the timing of this. This isn't the first mishap in Alaska. Last September, a tour bus near Skagway tipped over, injuring several guests. It's a reminder to stay cautious on those exciting shore excursion adventures, or even traveling to and fro. Have you had a close call on a cruise excursion? Share your stories in the comments and let's hear your favorite Ketchikan stops. Well, Carnival isn't the only cruise line getting some airplay from Netflix. Just this last week, we talked about Netflix's new documentary about the infamous poop cruise from Carnival. Now Netflix has an upcoming mini-series called Amy Bradley is Missing that's going to focus on a woman's disappearance from Royal Caribbean's Rhapsody of the Seas in March of 1998. The 3-part documentary gives an in-depth look at the nearly 30-year-old mystery. Premiering on July 16th, the show will look at different leads and sightings of the 23-year-old. Sailing on a 7-night Caribbean sailing with her parents and brother, Bradley seemed to have disappeared without a trace in the early morning hours of March 24th. She had been visiting a nightclub with her brother. Now, despite the ship being notified of her disappearance and a search underway, guests were still allowed to disembark for their planned port stop in Curacao that very day. So the documentary will feature Amy's family as well as interviews with FBI investigators and eyewitnesses. Rumors and possible sightings that have occurred over the years will also play a part in the new Netflix special. While Amy was declared legally deceased in 2010, 12 years after the disappearance, her family has not given up hope that she will one day be found. Age-progressed photos have been released in the hopes that someone may recognize her. Now, I remember first learning about this when watching an episode of Cruise Ship Killers. Now, if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend it. It's a pretty interesting show. I hope everyone has had a great week. It's been a busy one for me. Now, I didn't mention this last week because I was just still up in my head about it, but last Sunday morning, I woke up to a really bad smoky smell in the house, only to realize I had forgotten that I had put eggs on to hard boil Saturday night. It was a mess. The eggs had exploded all over the kitchen. Ceiling, like a 15-foot radius. Then they burnt to a crisp. I've spent the week cleaning everything from the ceilings to every single thing on my countertops and shelves, plus washing everything possible. I guess it was a good way to force me to take down all the curtains and get those washed. I still have a few blankets and other items that I want to go ahead and get washed this week. Man, it's been a full week now, and the smell is a lot better than it was those first couple of days. Between all the cleaning, the HEPA filter, and even taking the opportunity to oil my butcher block countertops while they were cleaned off. I mean, you're supposed to do, I think, every year, and I haven't done it since we remodeled this place. But anyway, got that done. Because of all that, I'm no longer hit with that intense smell every time I walk into the house. It's still there a little bit, but not near what it was that first day. Oh my gosh. Well, for those keeping up with my ducklings, I lost another one. So now I'm down to 11 babies, but they are getting bigger and starting to lose some of their little yellow fluff, those baby feathers. There is still one that is half the size of the others, though I'm honestly surprised that of all the ones that have gotten picked off somehow, it has managed to survive. I'm pretty sure it was one of the ones that hatched last, so that means it's like 4 days younger than the oldest ones. Well, I cleaned out the duck pond this week, and they love it when the water is fresh. Since it's been hot, I wanted to make sure they had a cool place to hang out. But I'm still obsessively counting the ducks every day and every time I see them. I look out the window, count them. Go outside, count them. I'm really hoping there's no more that go missing. Well, are you ready for more information on cruising? Why don't you stick around and check out this video where I go over the Netflix documentary on the infamous Carnival Triumph poop cruise, and then come back for more information designed to help you have an amazing cruise. Have a blessed week, everyone.